Hi everybody, it's Erin Warren, registered dietitian nutritionist, certified diabetes care and education specialist, and I've also had type 1 diabetes for over 25 years. So I work at an outpatient endocrinology clinic, but I also have my own online private practice. So if you have diabetes and you're looking for a healthcare provider who understands diabetes and just gets it, reach out to me through my website so that we can start working together. So today I want to take a moment to talk about that super annoying, stubborn blood sugar that doesn't want to come down. What do you do? Because let's say you gave yourself a bolus or your correction dose and it's just sitting there and it's hours and then finally it comes down. But if you're like many people out there with diabetes, you just get frustrated and you start rage bolusing, and so then your insulin stacks and then you crash. It's super frustrating and a lot of us deal with it. So my number one advice for people with that stubborn blood sugar, even though you have that insulin on board, is to get your body moving. And we can do this in a couple of ways. So you can do this the old traditional way by just going on a walk. You can also do this by doing normal chores such as mopping the floor or picking weeds out of the garden or even playing on the trampoline with your kids. So there's things that you can do to just get that heart rate moving. When you are trying to lower your blood sugar though, you want to make sure that you stick with cardio activity and not anaerobic like weightlifting, because that can actually cause your blood sugar to spike more. Something to also consider is, do you have ketones? If your blood sugar's been sitting above 250 and it won't come down, then that's a good time to check for ketones. And so the two main ways to check for ketones with diabetes is either through a blood ketone meter or through urine strips. If you do have moderate ketones or higher, you don't want to do any type of cardio activity because that can actually stress your body and increase the ketones. If you are having ketones and you are vomiting or feeling sick, then you need to call your healthcare provider or even go to the ER, because this could mean you're on the brink or even have developed DKA. And if untreated, this could be very serious and even deathly. So we do not want that. So if you don't have ketones and your blood sugar is just sitting there and it's just being stubborn and it won't come down, throwing in some little bit of cardio is going to work magic. And so this takes about 10 to 15 minutes of this cardio activity to get that blood sugar moving. It may take a little bit longer, just depending on how much resistance you're hitting right now with that high blood sugar. So one way to think about it is that high blood sugar or that stubborn blood sugar can get us moving and doing chores around the house that we should be doing anyway. So to me, it helps me mop the floor, it helps me pull weeds out of the garden, and sometimes it's just a fun quick jump on the trampoline with my kids. So that's one way to think about it. I mean, we all hit those times when we have that stubborn blood sugar. So another thing to be thinking of is, if you're seeing the same high blood sugar every day, start thinking about the pattern. What's causing this? Is it the same time every day, no matter if you eat or don't eat? And so it could be basal or your background insulin related, or do you see it every time after you're eating a meal? And that could be because your carb ratio isn't aggressive enough, or it's the timing of your insulin dosing for that meal. Another thing to think about is also, is it related to your correction isn't aggressive enough? Perhaps that your blood sugar is high, you correct, or your pump is saying, hey, you can take very minimal correction, so it's not enough to actually bring your blood sugar down. Another thing to think about, maybe your settings are too aggressive and it's actually just because you over-treated because of a low. So there's a lot here. And if you have diabetes, you understand how confusing an alcohol can be. But basically, just get moving. It takes that 10 to 15 minutes, and that's going to help bring your blood sugar down. If you feel like your blood sugar is moving, your CGM's a little bit off, a lot of us are using CGMs, I'd say go ahead and test your blood, because your CGM, the sensor is in interstitial fluid, and there is about 10 to 15 minutes of lag time having a sensor in interstitial fluid versus taking a blood sugar testing with a meter. So there's a couple things to be thinking about. It's a motivator to get moving. If it's doing chores around the house or having fun with your kids, that can be a great way to reduce your blood sugar. Just don't do it if you have ketones, and water is always a plus. Hopefully that was a helpful tip for you. I will see you next time. If you'd like to work together, you can just follow the link, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.